Thank you, Cheryl.
No, I don't think it will.
You mind getting that started?
It started, yes.
Is the bond there?
All right.
I can't see out my left eye now.
Oh, I'm waiting.
Did you say you're a left eye?
You want to switch places there?
Blinded.
All right, Carolyn.
No, I'm missing out too.
No, it's just no, I'm not fine with it.
Will you just pass these around?
She is on page 47 of your hard document, and Bethany, you may just want to click on her salary sheet because they have the hard document here.
And can I make a request? Citizens at home don't get to see what we're handed out. Can we add these to the file out there for people to look at in the supplement?
We add those to the minutes, is what we usually do.
So they'll get the minutes in a month, or it's just that people are asking because they're so concerned about their property taxes. They just want to know what all we're doing.
I mean,
We can discuss it later.
We can scan them in.
yeah. Well, we can do that.
Thank
Scan them
you.
in, we'll give them the IT website, have
Yeah,
IT
that's
post
fine.
website.
I'd like
Sure,
that.
you'll just
Transparency.
copy the minutes.
I have it all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can do that, that'd be great.
I have more if you don't have.
I didn't get one. No, I was busy talking. Thank you.
Pass those around, anybody want it? All right, everybody ready? Carolyn? Floor's yours, man.
Well, you can see is what I just passed out. We are growing, we're collecting, we're above what we spend in our budget on what we turn back over to the county.
All right.
And of course, you have what I've requested.
You have any questions for Carolyn?
I do. How are our fees compared to other counties as far as the revenue side coming in?
I have no idea, because I don't check that.
Mr. Long, is there something we could do to run a comparison on our clerk fees compared to other counties to see how we're doing?
Pull them off the audit. That'd be it. I mean, we can pull them off the audit reports. They're on the state's website.
Is that something your office could do for us, or if I want it, I gotta go do it?
We can do it. I just gotta put somebody on
I mean, I just wanna make sure that we're getting all the revenue we can, and
it. Most of her revenues are set based on statutes or percentages based on the state statute, so it really is not very adjustable, if that makes sense. There's actually a statute that determines, just like the trustee's office, there's a statute that determines what percentage you collect on what revenue. There's a statute for what she collects on the different fees. And I don't think any of those are adjustable right now. I think we're maxed out on most of them.
are we that's my question, are we maxed out on all the fees?
We
Of course,
can,
I'm aware. Unless I'm missing something, maybe Carolyn knows something I'm not.
David, so projecting through June, we'll have an extra $1 million. And where does that go?
It goes into the general fund.
General fund.
Right.
Okay.
Because most of your county clerks, the fees that's been said are enough to recover their offices throughout the state. by and
So
large.
she's a moneymaker.
Yeah. Most of your county clerks, about all your county clerks' offices, they cover their own costs.
the month of April, we were at 25% in wheel tax to what we were last year.
How much?
25%. Wow. When we closed.
So we may have to reproject the wheel tax if April pick up.
That was just wheel tax, that didn't include things that didn't include wheel tax.
Because your wheel tax has been high for a while.
I mean, that's quite still.
It depends a lot on how the month falls and how many days are in it. Like April had 22 days,
5
March
weeks.
had 20. It depends on how your days fall, because you pick it up the next month. If you're down 1 month, you usually pick it up the next month.
And up here's her salary sheet for what she's requested. The cost of living is the 5% based on Mr. Shows' initial recommendation, and then the others, the additional amount requested, and that may be, I think, was it 6% that she requested on all the rest of them.
We've lost 3, maybe 4 employees since last year. New employees due to the salary.
Did we want to look at like just, you're talking about the salary, so see compared to market rates where we are above or below? Or
Well, we've got it, but what you run into
Wanna
is
say that
like
for tomorrow.
the county clerk's office, for instance, and that's why I'm saying this has it for a lot of the directors and things like engineers, but when you go down into like the elected officials, for instance, the county clerk, what's that earlier? Let's find her. County clerk only has chief deputy and then deputy county clerk, but she has a whole lot of different kinds. And looking at, based on hers, when we start looking at the market, hers is actually falls within the actual market.
Currently, as is right now?
No, as with that order up toward the market.
You talking about the 5% cost of living that we gave out for this in the city?
And the six, yeah, because it's showing that, and I know that it's a big average, and let me go back here and look at it. I'm not reading them, man, I feel like, man, I'm losing my spot whenever.
Is that 5% whichever cost of living, is that capturing like all the benefits as well, or is that just straight salary?
It's the salary, but then it captures you've got a 7.65% for, Social Security Medicare, and then the retirement, I think it's 11.39.
But that column is only showing pretty much just cash salary, it's not showing the increase across the board for a
No,
total. I mean,
but that very front sheet shows you.
How that grows.
I hate to look at that. The county clerks, they only show, the chief deputy, and they only show one amount, so it's like an average of national and everybody for them. So the elected officials, they didn't do a whole lot of detail compared to like a lot of the other offices, but when I look at her, do you see her chief deputy? I think her chief deputy's below that aggregate average.
84.
And I know this is including Davison and some of the big ones, but the aggregate average is around 88 for the chief deputy for that particular office.
That one specifically is kind of below, I guess, based on that.
Based on the
Median
average,
high.
based right, on the median of that, and it includes Nashville, but it also includes Wilson, so these are the larger counties, but they're not. And then our other ones, the average for everybody was around 48. If you look, she's got some long-term there, 60 and 50, but she has some down all the way into 39. So if you just to kind of give you an idea, just grab the 39 and pull it down and stop before the chief deputy. She probably is pretty close to that aggregate average. Just pull it down, it'll give you an average on the side. That's good.
54.
So our average is 54, so.
So we're above market average, I guess.
Yeah, based on that, just pull the ones below the 84 too and see, they may go the other direction, I'm not sure. You can't pull those zeros back, that's why. Just pull it till you get to a grade, there you go, pull it 46. Let's see what's the average.
29, so that's
So
average.
it's really close, that one is, so. Some of our longer terms would be above average and some below, but overall, and then pull those bottoms, because I think they're pretty close. She's like 46 there, so I think overall hers is probably pretty close to that 48 aggregate average.
For what, the 5% plus the 6%?
Plus the 6%. Right. Her office is one of the probably ones that are
Below.
looking off more than average. Yeah.
Compared to other departments.
There's some of the other.
Feeling this one's a little lower than.
Yeah.
Carol, the 4 employees you lost, were they all motor vehicle people? And they weren't temporary, they were permanent employees?
Yes, sir.
Were they all here in Gallatin, or were some headed?
No, I had 2 in Hendersonville, and then had 2 up here.
Okay. So that's, you don't have, we just got this is their organizational
So-
chart. Okay. I'll try to have.
Bob was next, but I have a question.
Do you know where they went? So they weren't shopping counties or?
Well, I had one that went to Macon County, but now she lived over, she was really closer to Macon than she was Sumner.
Okay.
So that was a benefit to her, so she did not leave for that reason. The others left. When they get into our office and start, they don't realize how much work there is and how much learning there is to it. And there's a lot, and they get frustrated. And
Well,
it's not easy
So,
when you have
I
somebody
have-
in front of you all day long.
I have 2 items with the clerk's office. I was just speaking to Carolyn. As our county grows, and Carolyn says, and they do a good job of moving people through, but we have people standing in the hallways. So I want us to think about the future of what we're going to do with Carolyn's office and the people we have coming in and where we're going to put them. And although we're not looking at the capital improvement right now, she's not asking for that. It's back on the table. It's where are we going to find space for the citizens that are coming in? Either more people lined up servicing them and get them out of here quicker, which is not really a great thing if we have ups and downs, but where we're going to set them.
We can extend the hall, maybe we can
Well,
People
people are standing in the hallway.
Yeah.
It's not, as we get more and more people, it's just not, we have people that need a chair to sit in. I'm just saying, it's something in the next year that we should consider. What we're gonna, you go to the DMV, they got a place for you to sit while you wait. We can keep them staying in the hall.
When people are coming in here, I mean, you can do all this online, everything they do.
You cannot apply for a title online.
So it's the only thing.
You have to come into the office.
Would you say that-
First license, you have to come into the office.
Is the majority of people coming in for titles and licenses?
Mostly because we have 4 kiosks throughout the county. We have one in Gallatin, we have one in Hendersonville, one in White House, and one in Portland. The one in White House and Portland is 24/7 service. And they are really now beginning to pick up.
So that you can do your titles?
No, only
okay.
renewals.
Okay,
A
sure.
title, you have to come into the office because we have to collect that paperwork, we have to scan it, we have to send it to the state.
It's a lengthy process too.
Yes.
Yes.
It takes about, if everything's correct, it'll take about 4 to 5 minutes to process it. So, and we're trying to encourage people to use onlines. Our onlines have picked up, and of course, a lot of that's due to no emissions. Before, it matched emissions and you could do
Yep.
it. Onlines have picked up, like, on the first of the month, we may have 800. It just depends. The kiosk in White House is probably our most used. And then Portland, and then this one here, we started trying to leave the one in Hendersonville, it's in the outside lobby, 24/7, and we started having homeless people come in there, and so we had to lock him. We couldn't do that anymore.
Are there any new positions in this?
And it want-
New
no,
position, no position, okay.
I've got 2 positions that I have not filled,
Gotcha.
that I'm not asking for.
Oh, so you lost 4, but you got 2 back?
I've got, yes,
back.
I've got 2 positions
Those are your two.
that, to fill,
Okay.
but I'm not asking for any new ones.
And I just have one other question, and I don't know if it's in general ops or if it's in your office. The commission as a whole, we have voted on new sound system, new equipment, or new fixes, and I'm not sure where that is, if it stopped in general ops, or if it's coming from your office, and if it's in our commission budget. But we all 24 of us voted that we want something better, button-wise, sound-wise, video-wise. The citizens want to plug in a USB and see what they're seeing. I don't know if that's in your budget, if we can discuss it in gen ops, we discuss it in
I'll
commission.
put a county commission budget when you get there, if that's what you want.
And that would be-
It's on the Gen Ops agenda for next Monday.
It's not in the budget.
We need to budget.
Nobody's requested it to our office.
Well, because we don't know what the fix is.
So I don't have budget request power, but the commissioners, we've all voted, 24 of us said we want this fixed. So if we have to put the budget, if we have to give Carolyn budget money, commission
I'd
budget,
put it under county commission, but can we just note it when we get to county commission?
perfect.
Well,
That's all I wanted. Thank you.
Historically, the county clerk has made improvements to the chamber, is that correct?
Correct.
So, when that $20,000 or whatever it is, like when we bought that system, I think, I think it's 2016, 2017.
The $20,000?
No, I'm talking about 2017 when they actually started recording
Oh.
the meetings live. I think that was the first year it started, was 17, if I'm not mistaken. That system came in. I assume the county commission, that didn't come to the clerk's office. Is that just like an appropriation thing? Commission for capital project improvement?
I was not involved in that, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I knew you
Did
had.
all that, but.
But the other thing
I
that's
don't-
20,000.
It did not come out of our budget.
So we'll put it in commission budget.
You may just want to
We'll
put
get to
in
it.
outsource all of it.
Thank you for,
Yeah.
I just wanted,
Yeah, that way they won't have to deal with it.
And just to let you know, Terry,
I know you're working on
Yeah,
it, but we need to budget for some money.
what we're trying to figure out what the fix is. Until we know what the fix is, we don't know what the budget.
Or you can put it in capital projects for the county commission either way. Probably the
I'll
biggest.
find you a fix if you want me to.
Any other questions for Carolyn? I know we're keeping us on time. Anything else, Dave? No.
Planning and engineering is on page 38.
All right, thank you, Karen.
And if Ms. Browning could go to their salary sheet and.
Which page you said?
I'm sorry, it's on page 38, and Ms. Browning is on his salary request, and there's Mr. Johnson to talk about it.
We're not requesting much. You guys have been very, very generous with us in the last couple of years. We really do appreciate that. But that said, I do have something I want to ask for. So, this is not the time to do this. This is something, I've had a situation that's come up in the last week, 2 weeks, with an employee. I have an employee who has a daughter who's profoundly disabled. and she's let us know she's not gonna be able to continue working full-time for the county. So I posted that position, I've got it filled, confiscating an employee from another jurisdiction who's gonna come over and work for us, but, again, that's because you guys help take care of us salary-wise and that kind of thing over the years. But one of the things I wanted to ask you guys about, and I don't know if this is possible, if it's not, if it's a bad idea, if it's something that y'all don't feel like we ought to do, that's fine, I totally understand, but, something I'd like to do, if you guys remember, I came to you guys a few months ago, I think it was back in like December, and eliminated an assistant to the director position. If you guys recall that, there was money that was left over. And I told you guys a long time ago, I'm a pretty good bureaucrat, I don't tend to leave money on the table if I don't have to. And so, there was 18,000 and some change that was left over when that position was eliminated. You guys, when y'all reallocated that salary, what you did was you spread most of it out among other positions as far as raises and that kind of
Where's
thing.
it showing up? It's awesome.
And so, there was $18,399 that was left over, when that position was eliminated. And I made a hire on the assistant county planner position, so you guys have been very good to us on that. I was able to make that hire at less than what y'all budgeted. So there was about $7,500 in salary that was left over when I did that. And then the associated benefits come to about $1,587. And so there's $27,000 that's left in one way or another unspent, from that position elimination, in one way or another, because, again, there was $18,399 that was left as a balance at the end. And then, like I said, we had $100,000 for the assistant county planner position, and I've hired him in at $92,500. And so and there may be something that I'm missing on that. So what I was wanting to ask, if Mr. Long, if we could figure it out, if it might be possible to create a part-time position for that employee to be able to stay on. And one of the reasons I need that position is that she's a full-time, or she's a native Spanish speaker. And so our position, our department, just whether you like it or not, a whole lot of people that come in to get permits are not native. And so they speak Spanish. And if you ever tried to explain a drainage easement or an access easement to somebody that doesn't speak Spanish or doesn't speak English, it takes a long, long time to be able to figure that out. She's able to meet with these people and get them their permits in a few minutes, whereas it might take us 30 minutes, 45 minutes or longer in order to do that. And so I'd love to be able to keep her if we can. Can't, again, I understand if the money doesn't work out there, but that's something I'd like to ask if it's possible to do. And again, I don't know if maybe I'm misunderstanding something as far as how the money was allocated and that kind of thing, but that's how I recall it. And so
It's right there. It's right there, Josh. And these are the numbers that we had at the time, unless you maybe hired the assistant in chief or something. But here's right here what we got. That was your budget last year, and then the adjustments is actually like 1,082 left. But if you go through here, if these are the amounts people are making, unless we're missing one of your people.
I don't know. See, so there was the Patricia Crandall there, she was the admin assistant, 46 and change, with salary and benefits, that came to another total, right? And so that was reallocated for raises for several of the positions back in December.
That's what that right there is.
And there was a balance at the end, if y'all remember Mr. Hyde saying something about giving money back and that kind of thing. At that meeting, there was $18,000 that was left over.
How much did you hire the assistant in that?
$92,500.
That's the difference right there.
Yeah.
We have her in
It's just 7,500.
7,500 right there, and you're counting benefits, but my question is, are you looking at the gross? Because we don't give people credit for things like health insurance, or, I'm not sure.
No, TCRS, Social Security, and FICA. It's all looked at for benefits.
But the benefits went both directions, so that's what I'm saying, you bring back in.
Do we have org charts? I mean, I know that everybody gave org charts. Can we have org charts for some of these departments? I mean, I get lost, especially,
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you've done a great job of rearranging stuff, but just verbally, I have trouble following all the position changes.
Sure.
And I know it was back in December, so I'm gonna go back and look in December so I can get all the players in line.
Yeah.
But do we have org charts?
Yeah, those were
They
submitted
sent
when we
to
turned
us,
them in.
And we emailed them, I think, to you and Mr. Klein, I think.
No,
I
I
made
gave her
copies.
mine.
Oh, did we? And I think you
So,
got
Mr.
a
Klein?
copy upstairs.
She got the
Oh,
twelve.
really nice to have.
She wasn't.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can probably,
Okay,
make
I'll
that share today.
How long?
Can you share, Mr.
Sure.
Klein, today?
Huh?
You could share today?
I can share
If we could
today.
get to
Yeah.
that drive, we could, but I don't think we
Assistants
got
here, how
access.
many assistants are there?
What they call assistant is not assistant.
They're right up there.
Is this
So-
what we're talking about right here?
I want to understand, this employee's a full-time employee currently,
Yeah, and
but their life situation has changed, and they can't provide a full schedule.
That's right.
So are we gonna backfill with another full-time employee?
Yes, but I've
So we're
already-
gonna
I've already got
add,
you.
we're gonna
That's
add a half-time so we can keep,
That's right. That's right. It would be an additional, part-time position. Again, that wasn't in my budget request because this didn't come up until a couple weeks ago.
are you gonna keep them on healthcare? I mean, no, so we're saving,
They-
I mean,
they-
that's a bad thing,
But the other
but.
positions, yeah, not saving
Yeah.
anything there, no.
Yeah.
Because the position's being backfilled with somebody that's gonna come in and I'm
This is a
assuming have
new
benefits.
position request, it's a new money.
Mm-hmm.
What is, I guess, looking at the kind of market, like we did for the clerk, like where are we at in the planning department based on, because, we added, the commission added some positions, and then those positions get filled, and we took those and distributed them as salary increases for, so where are we at on that?
So we have the planning head, go down to Josh, I'll see how he looks into there. Josh's would be somewhere right within the range, because they have the average of 136,050, and then the top was 153,680. So he's somewhere between the average and the top. The staff engineer, because there's a head engineer, which would be a department head, and then there is a senior engineer. The senior engineer, the average for data center is 99,154, and the top step for those other counties are 123,883. And we have him at 141 next year.
Okay, that's way.
And then you have the staff planner, which would just be a staff planner. The average is 73,278, and the max on those, most of them are 90,668. So I think probably 92 pretty close to that.
Huh.
But these are also 2023 numbers from the survey from Burris.
What's that staff planner? Who's that referring to? Is that the Kathy in my office you're talking
The
about?
staff planner the assistant you got, that's who that referred to.
So I've got a staff planner position that's,
It'd be the staff planner is the assistant.
No, he has a staff planner.
Can I
and
ask
an
about
assistant planner.
the translator issue? I mean, Carolyn didn't speak of that, and I assume that she has that same issue. Mayor, what do you do, Mayor, here in the building when people walk in and they don't speak English? Do we have a translator in the building, or?
We do not.
Rice,
It's not
that's
in the
my
budget.
employee, that's who it is.
Well, I understand we do, so what do we do? I mean, it still happens, so what do we do?
Each department will have to take care of it.
So if somebody, I mean, they're coming in right now, so what do we do? I mean-
They come to my office.
Google Translate?
And talk to Rice, the young lady
This
I'm
is the
talking
only
to.
person we have in the whole
What does
building?
other counties do?
I don't know, that's what I'm
I think
asking.
at one time we had a line you could call.
You know what,
There's
Judge
something like
Blanton,
that.
didn't
It's
that,
88
Yard
stuff.
of
There-
Merit.
They do
there's-
have
there's
it.
something-
There's a line
in
you call,
courts,
they'll
I think a
they'll
line that
translate.
you can call, I
There's a
think.
line you can call, they'll translate it for you.
didn't Judge Blanton ask us for more money because he needed more translating, something about nobody in the nation spoke some language?
But my
Was that last
understanding is
year?
there's a line you can call, they'll translate that because of ADA.
So could Josh use that line? Are we using that line? I mean, I'm
What
just
is it? It's
asking.
an ADA line, and we used to use, I don't know if we used it much lately.
I don't know that.
I mean, we're gonna have Hispanics coming into the tax assessor's office, who they gonna talk to?
We can reach out to other counties and see.
Well.
I mean, it's a big
till the end of
problem, I
this
see.
week.
We can reach out to other counties and see what they're doing. I know that one time when legal was doing the HR stuff, that they were using the ADA line, if there was a Spanish-speaking individual, that they would go up to them and then we can get it translated.
Yeah.
I don't know, we did, but it was a line, a number we called, and we haven't had to deal with it for a while.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this looks like it's not just your office,
No. I mean,
everybody
it's-
needs.
Like I said, whether you like it or not, it's a demographic issue in the county and anywhere in Middle Tennessee, right?
I'm all about it, I wanna
Yeah,
throw
it's-
more at it,
yeah.
because I figure,
And so, I mean, that line is great, and sure it's there, but I can tell you, however that line works, getting them to explain Sumner County zoning to somebody.
oh, I believe that too, but we need something.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a plan, and
And
I
I've watched it.
don't think we have a plan. Thank you I'm not saying you don't need it,
Sure.
So,
Maybe I'm missing something. Is there a problem with making this position legally or?
No, it's just the.
It's additional funds. We're already short 6 million.
What turned in, right?
Okay, so
It's just a request for additional position.
what Josh is.
Like I said, if this had come up a few months ago, it would have been in the budget. It's just something that recently came up. I want to try to help an employee. Like I said, if you can't do it, I totally understand. Totally get it. It's last minute request, so I totally get it.
So we get guidance for 5%, right, for COLA, but this is an extra 6% on top of that. Where did the 6% come from, I guess?
I think that was just a departmental wide guidance that came down for everybody to put
Where did
something.
it come from? is what
Where did
we're
it come
asking.
from? I guess, because we didn't come from the budget committee, so I guess I'm curious where that department, the guidance comes from.
It came down from the constitutional officers as far as I know.
Did they have a meeting or how did they?
No idea.
You got an email?
Is that something that was agreed upon, I guess? at the
Where-
meeting, or-
General conversation, what we felt we deserved.
Well, looking at market, I mean, do we want to do this now, or do we wait till tomorrow when we start
Because I'm
this stuff?
saying, Josh's is within the market, the only other one we have is what's called the engineer, and there's a engineer head, which I don't think the engineer would do, and then there is a senior staff engineer, which I think is what your engineer would probably qualify as.
It depends on how you look at it. The way we're structured is a little different than like, if you go to Rutherford County, they have a planning and engineering department. There's not really like a director of the department. I don't really know how it works in practice. There's a planning director and an engineering director is the way that they do it. Here we have it set up so that I'm the director and the county planner, and the engineer reports to me.
So on our, is that here?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's just a senior engineer, then the average across the large Middle Tennessee counties and the east and all of them is 99,154, and the maximum, median pay, which is the median of the maximum, is 123,883. Not many people can make more, that's the median of the highest paid ones are 123.
So where's our engineer at? Or where's-
And usually your
127.
senior staff engineer is gonna be somebody that reports to another engineer. So I'm not totally sure that's applicable here.
If he's a department head, the median's 137, and the median of the max would be 155, but that is if he was actually over an engineer.
Right.
So that one may fall somewhere between those two.
So we're going to reduce that one. I mean,
It'd fall
can we
somewhere
adjust
between.
that one?
It's kind of, that's just the numbers we got from those. But if you took him without the additional 6, he would be what? 133, which would be somewhere on the median between a senior staff engineer and a department head. So he would fall between those two.
At current?
Well, with the 5%.
Yeah, that's 5%, so. But I'd say we just go ahead and adjust that. You want to go do that? or-
It's whatever you guys want. It is, they can, so I'm saying it usually goes as smooth as if you do adjustments with the departments here.
I mean, I think if there's things that are out of balance, out of proportion, I think we need to adjust them down if it needs to for that. But I'm good with that, if everybody else is, let's see what that looks like.
What are you saying, Jeremy?
Well, you say the engineer is over based on what they're asking for.
Oh, I see.
So.
It's clear
So
what it
there's-
is.
Reduced.
Because you have a city/county engineering head, and then you have a senior staff engineer. As Josh says, we don't have an engineering department, so he's really not answering to another engineer, so he's kind of left out on his own, but he's also not supervising the department, so. Best guess, he would fall somewhere between those two lines as a blur. So the average of those is 137, 99, 154 on the bottom, 137 on the top. Of just the average everywhere. The average of the top earners is 123 to 155, so.
I mean, we're still above average for top earners.
Yes.
Right where we're at now.
With the 127 and the 6,000 make it what, about 133, would be, yeah, it'd be above. It'd be, if you put the 155 and 123, it'd be somewhere around the average between those two on the top earners. For last year, remember we were a year off too.
Oh,
Dave,
It's 23 numbers they pulled.
does this factor in raises from these other jurisdictions for 2024?
That's why I'm saying that's 23.
Okay, so this is just catching us up to 2023 or putting us
So if we looked at the
ahead, not assuming that they're gonna give any raises.
So let's just look at so if we just look at the 127, and you take the engineer average, for that be between 99, 154, and 137, he would be at 127. So you
I'd like more time to think.
We don't have to do anything right now.
Yeah,
We can back and adjust.
yeah.
Well, I think Josh's falls right within the median of the one he's currently making, 133.
We're at time anyway. So you guys have any more questions or taking action right now, or just sit on this for a second?
I just wanted
Oh.
to, I think we'll waste a lot of time if we don't do this.
Yeah.
They have enough Spanish speakers up there that this would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think we need to address that. Can you tell me where this part-time would fit into the new org?
It would be right in here, would be a part, that's her right there.
Okay.
And so the same title would be just a part-time permitting specialist
So we would
position.
keep the full-time?
That's right.
And
Yes,
get a
yes, ma'am.
.5?
That's right, that's right. And I need to get with David about the funds that were left over when we eliminated the assistant to the director.
And I totally agree, we need a person up there.
15, Josh.
I just think we need to address
I may
it.
need to file a disability claim.
Hey, Josh, this one's right here.
I'm gonna go upstairs and see Kim.
You're saying this
Take
lady right
stairs.
here, you're saying this lady right here is currently, what is 92,000?
That's right, yeah, 92.5.
So we need to adjust that down right now, but to 92, to whatever, to make that to
Yeah,
92.
we just made that hire a couple weeks ago.
The difference, yeah, the second. So put her, so there, if we go down now, we're looking at about 85, 82, unless there's another salary that, all the rest of them are filled positions unless somebody vacated. Because the salaries where they come from is actually out of the payroll system, pulled from the table, unless they're vacant. That one's vacant right there. So that's what we're having is the difference right now.
Well, I don't think we have time to, make a decision right now. We're over time already on Josh's slot, so we need to keep moving, guys. So, and this is a new position that we weren't expecting, so I don't think we need to make a decision right now. That's my opinion.
I appreciate y'all considering it though. I really do.
Sorry. So, yeah, come back to this later.
Yes, IT is on page 47 for the
Oh, we're
operation.
not on code.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Building and codes is on page 39.
All right.
39?
Building and codes.
So I've got the org charts for y'all on the remaining.
Oh, thank you. No, I didn't, I should give you more room. You know, I wonder if we should have a table over here for a sidebar. Would that help? Oh, thank you. Woo.
Goodbye. All right, everybody got it? Take one down, pass it around.
What?
Are these, you need this?
Yeah, I told you that, I told him they had to bring it in.
It's updated from the one we sent by email a few
Yeah,
weeks ago.
I didn't pass it out to anybody, so.
Okay.
I've been down there a couple of times with Marshall Stable Race.
All right, we ready?
All right.
Marshall, you're up.
Thank you. Chairman Mansfield, rest of commissioners, some of you I've never met before. My name is Marshall Wright, Building Codes Director, Sumner County. I would like to take just a few seconds to recognize our deputy building official, Terry Haynes. He's the one that passed out the packets. Terry's been with us for 9 years. He's our deputy building official. I didn't coin that term, that comes directly out of the code books. So we are an enforcement sector of Sumner County when it comes to building codes. I would like to, if I can, Mr. Chairman, spend most of my time in the 10-page document. It's right after the letter. There was 2 pages on the front. And I know my time is limited, so I have to go through this pretty quick. Page 1, this is a department comparison between our department and Rutherford County. I tried to do a comparison between us and Rutherford County and Wilson County. I could not get the data together for Wilson County. It was like comparing apples with oranges. With Sumner County and Rutherford County, both of the building officials are department heads, and they also, the property maintenance zoning inspector works out of the building and codes department. So we're, as far as the scope of the work, we're identical with Rutherford County right on down the line. You'll see that at the 5 bullet points that I provided. Wilson County, on the other hand, their building official is not a department head. He works under the Developmental Services Department, and their property maintenance inspector works under the zoning department. So it just would have brought a lot of confusion, I thought. That's why I didn't put Wilson County in here.
Do you know their population? Wilson County?
Yes, we do. We have that data, but I don't have it on arm's reach.
I know Rutherford's like 375, so they're substantially larger than us in population, so I'm just.
You take out the municipalities.
Which one are you on?
Murfreesboro and all the towns in Rutherford County were real close.
As far as unincorporated.
I can
Incorporated.
Yes, sir. If you take out if you just include the unincorporated population, Sumner County's like 78,000 and Rutherford County's at like 99,000. So they are a
Yeah,
little
but
bit,
that's on page 2, sir.
yes, okay? All right, I'd like to flip over to page 2.
Can I ask you, when you compare
Yes, ma'am.
them, do you compare them by population or by units that you're coding, that you're inspecting? I'm sorry to
No, ask me
interrupt
anything,
you.
it'd be population.
Population, not units that you're inspecting, but
Yeah,
population.
in
Thank
the
you.
unincorporated area, that's what we're looking at.
All right,
That's
thank
where
you.
our comparisons is. All right, is everybody with me? Ready to go to page 2? Page 2, we tried to get all this information, but they were kind of uncooperative, so we had to do an open record request, and then the information started coming in. And Rutherford County, their building codes department, they have 14 to 16 on their staff. Depends on what document you look at that they submitted. Sumner County has 7. Page 3, Rutherford County's salary comparison at the very top is just a salary comparison. They're $1,062,000 and Sumner County is $418,000.
So where was that number?
At the very top on page 3.
Okay, total salaries, got it. Thank
Uh-huh.
you.
Okay, in about the middle of page 3, I know this is a sore point for a lot of people, but we're asking for a adequate facility tax coordinator. Portland, about 4 or 5 months ago, asked if we'd start collecting their adequate facility tax. In Gilletsville, we started collecting theirs yesterday, May the 1st. They were the last holdout. So our department collects adequate facility tax for all the jurisdictions in Sumner County.
What about Millersville?
Yes, sir.
You do now?
Yes.
You didn't used to, right?
No. No, it used to go directly to the finance department. But my understanding, according to my office manager, we're now collecting for all jurisdictions.
Okay, so when somebody comes to pull a permit, they're coming straight here, they're not going to each municipality.
That's my understanding.
No,
sir.
not for the adequate facilities, yes, but not for the
Yes,
building.
that's,
Yeah.
that's facility tax.
Just the adequate facilities.
Are the municipalities paying you to do this for them?
No, ma'am.
It's,
It's been a burden on our office
what I was-
ladies for some time.
I don't understand the math on that.
it's the adequate facilities tax for the school construction or renovation.
Correct.
They have to come down here and pay it. So it really is not benefiting the city, so they won't pay us to collect their tax.
So the growth that they're calling to us to have to borrow money from the schools isn't benefiting the citizens. That's how I got it.
And in addition, we can't use adequate facilities to pay for it either, because it has to be used for construction and renovation of schools only.
Good.
So it'll have to
Yeah.
come from your general operating revenue if you do it, yeah.
As far as the adequate facility coordinator, David, you're saying that that can't be paid out of the collected money, it has to come out of general fund?
No, because that
Okay.
private act says it's for construction or renovation of school facilities. So it's really clear. It would be, in my opinion, a very hard, impossible stretch unless legal has a different opinion.
If it's mandated that it be paid that way, so.
I'd like to ask you the same thing I asked Carolyn. How's your fees in comparison to other counties? Is this a set fee, or do we have any room?
Ours is low.
Ours is low? What,
I
you've
have that as
compared
part of my
us.
presentation.
Oh.
Hopefully, I might have to stretch a minute or two at the end to get it in, but. it's
I'd love to hear it.
All
But
right.
to kind of give you the history, there's a factoring that's done on your building permits. When we originally did it for the codes updates several years back, we wanted to use a factor 3.
0.005.
0.005. The commission, even though the office wasn't breaking even at the time, decided to move down the
Multiplier.
multiplier lower than most other jurisdictions because they had had complaints from some builders, I think.
Oh,
And we're
That's
at
pretty
the,
much what happened, but that's my understanding.
That's shocking.
out of the 6 or 7
Dogs
adjacent
complain.
counties around Sumner County in the Nashville area, we're at the very bottom of the barrel when it comes to adequate facility tax, the very bottom of the barrel when it comes to building permit fees. And I have that documented. It's
We
It's
worked
coming.
with Marshall on it, it was changed, we worked up the numbers to cover certain things with Marshall, me, and legal at the time.
Right.
And it was changed on the floor because there was, some of the commissioners had got complaints that they didn't, from some of the builders, that they didn't want the fees raised, is my
Right.
understanding.
It's my understanding that adequate.
What do you recommend?
I'm recommended that we adjust the multiplier from a .004 to a .006. And that would take care of our needs as far as needing additional help.
Marshall,
Yes.
That would capture the increases in costs that you're incurring?
Yeah, and even then, we will probably still be lower than everybody else in the surrounding area.
and maybe I'm wrong, because me and you talked about this a long time ago, then you told me, one of those inspectors, wasn't you talking about that they were gonna be a different kind of inspection we're currently not doing, or am I mistaken? There's been so many things changed over the years.
Yeah, we're looking to, you talking about electrical inspections?
Yes, is that included in that, or is that something different?
No.
Okay.
Once we get through this, then I think, the mayor and one or two of the commissioners asked me to look into maybe, creating an electrical inspection sector.
So that's something,
And that's pretty valid for us to do that. And
maybe I'm mistaken, but wasn't we talking about that there's one additional inspection you need to be doing that one of these people are helping with, and maybe I'm off base?
yeah, it's in my document right here.
Your recommendation on page 9, I'm just skipping ahead, I'm sorry. 'cause I
There you
know
go.
we're short on time.
Yeah, but that ain't what one of the people's for that additional inspection.
Yes, actually, it's several inspections that we're really not doing right now. And I think we'll justify our request.
so those inspections you're not doing, the private sector's doing?
No, ma'am, no one's
Nobody's doing them?
So we're the lowest on this BVM calculation than any other county around?
Yeah, the 3 components for coming up with our building permit fees is the square footage that's provided by the contractor. The price of cost per square footage, which is provided by ICC, and that's the table we're talking about. And the multiplier is provided by the county commissioners. Those are the 3 components that come up with how we come up with the price of a permit. So if we're going to change the permit fees, the way to do it, in my opinion, is changing the multiplier from a 4 to a 6, or whatever the county feels like it would be
Marshall,
needed.
do we have a high limit on this? You know, you're saying a 6. Some people are, there's no high limit on permits.
6, in my opinion, I read the numbers by David, would be sufficient for us to satisfy our inspection needs and also budget adjustments, and probably a little bit more cushion to keep us revenue neutral in our department.
tell them which the additional inspection that you're wanting to do
Yes,
that we're currently not
please.
doing.
All right.
That was, because that was one that, in Marshall's opinion, we probably need to be doing, but he don't have capacity right now.
Is that not
That's what-
required? I mean, electrical inspection, that just, I got red
No, we're
flags
not
all
doing,
over.
it. The electrical's done by the state now, we could take it over.
We could take it
But you would have to
over.
have additional people, and you'd probably break even.
If we
actually
take it
break-
over, are we just taking more, or are we gonna get a revenue
You would take
bump?
the revenue too.
Will we get some more revenue?
Yes, enough to cover it.
Electrical
Well, can we get,
inspections,
can we
yes.
cover it and pay people more money? I mean, can we make
Yes.
some money?
But that's a whole different discussion. Right now,
Okay.
there's some of the other just general inspections, not electrical, that Marshall feels.
Yeah,
that they
Marshall,
need to
could
do.
you,
Yes, ma'am.
electrical?
Not,
Which
not,
page are we on?
non-electrical.
I was on 9, but you're looking at,
Yeah, I could skip 2 or 3 pages and go to page 6 and try to answer the question.
I just heard the fact that we're not charging enough, and they got lowered for favors, and we need to charge them more to cover the
I wouldn't
cost.
say favor, I'd say that they felt that a lot of people weren't in favor of the increase.
Mhm.
Well, I understand who went in favor, I get
I
that.
didn't say there was.
Well, I am, because I saw the year 2015, so I was doing the math on the elections. So, do we need to make a motion to increase that right now, that BVM?
I think that we need to do a lot more, workshop on this and looking at all of their inspections that they're not doing.
With the budget package.
And then more so than, I appreciate Marshall's idea of .006, but maybe that's a different number. Maybe
Should
it's,
we go
it could be a
0.007?
little bigger. I'd like to see more county. I'd like to see more data on this. It's a big thing.
Well, do we
And
need to
some,
make a motion to send a
Always,
budget for
if you stepped it up to .006, then we could see what revenues it brings, because your revenue's gonna be variable anyway based on.
I think it needs to go up, definitely, but I think it needs a bit more
We looked at 05
documentation.
years.
Not that you didn't bring enough documentation. Maybe I need time to look at it.
I'd like to make a motion that we study this at Budget Committee little later down the line, because this needs some real study.
Yeah.
But my thing is, if you're gonna add the positions, it needs to do the inspections and stuff, and the best way to get your money is to actually increase the fees at the same time.
Do we,
Right.
are we talking about like, I don't know what you and Matt talked about, I wish he was here. He's not here.
Now, me and him didn't talk about this.
Well, I'm just talking about like, is it new positions at all here? I mean, because you said we're way over, like, what, they're asking the 6% over the 5%, so it's like, we've got to find a way to get that. So it's
Right.
like, right now, we're not doing that yet.
Right, I mean, this would be one where we'll just pick up
To be up,
positions.
so, well, I mean, my recommendation right now is we go ahead and amend the BVM from the current .004 to .006 that he's asking.
Right, and then that's what I would think would be your best move, and then if you're gonna, you could use it to fund these positions, because Marshall said these are inspections that he would feel for the benefit of the public, that they would be good inspections that they're actually doing. And can you mention the inspections you mentioned?
Yeah, we're required to do them. We haven't done them since I've been here.
What are the two inspections?
The biggest one is assessor structures. We don't
The what?
inspect assessors.
And I think you said there need to be another inspection of something, you was telling me the other
Well,
day.
assessor structure, you're gonna do 4 or 5 at minimum inspection on one assessor structure. From the footing, foundation,
Essentially,
framing, all the way
Like,
up
building on a
through.
deck or building on a sunroom.
A garage.
Garage, mother-in-law suite.
Yeah,
This is my whole problem with this 15 minutes. This conversation could be
I
an
got so
hour.
much here that.
I know, this is so much, and I think that you're on the right path, and we need to look at it and really go
Well, there's something we can do right
there.
now, and we're over time.
Yeah.
We can do something right now, is my point. We can move this.
Daniel made a motion.
Okay,
You did. You said it's in the budget.
I'll pull that back and I'll make a motion that we increase the .004 to .006 for the time being and then study it further.
Second.
And that's just to make our numbers move?
Yes.
As, as part of the budget package.
All in favor, say
That'll
aye.
get him the relief
Aye.
he needs now.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So we've got that.
Yes, sir. You want me to cut it off now or no?
Well, I mean, I know you keep going. I want to try to use this at a time, and everybody else's time.
Jeremy, can we do an ad hoc on this or how
Well,
would?
we
I think there's gonna be many things that roll into more
Well, I
more
think that-
time.
I don't want to do this haphazardly.
Could you guys just have a meeting with Marshall and do a Q&A, because you could have a meeting for like, not necessarily budget, more just, or ask budget to do a ad hoc committee where basically Marshall just presents this to them, and they go back to the regular meeting.
Oh, well, I'll motion that and I guess nominate Terry for the ad hoc.
I appreciate that, but next Tuesday, the insurance board, we got a 3-hour meeting. I mean, I got a lot going on. I
One
do.
more time. So be careful what you ask for.
I know, I just don't have time in the,
Uh,
I can't get to it for a moment, and,
Well, we know the basics here. We know that we're under what this multiplier needs to be. We know we're just shorting us on revenues.
You're not doing all the inspections we could.
Mr. Shaw, how you doing?
Yeah, so,
I think we just go ahead with what we voted on, and we get back to it, and we look at more intense, and also take in your other needs that you haven't had time to discuss with us.
Thank you.
I think,
And we do have a Spanish-speaking person in our department.
did y'all hear that?
So he can handle, could they handle both offices?
what is that?
He has a Spanish-speaking person.
From
So,
Brazil, he speaks 3 languages.
that's awesome, I hope you're paying him good. And look, he just heard me say that. Does any of the other departments send somebody your way? I mean, people have to be walking in this building, I can't understand.
No, I don't know if they're really aware of that. But my last hire, I hired him because we needed a Spanish-speaking person, and he's a wonderful man. So,
Very good, thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Get a freebie. You get in trouble for doing that.
So can I ask one other question?
Yes.
This will get you the relief you need now, the 4 to 6. And there's nothing so urgent that we have to have a meeting, an ad hoc meeting next week, right?
No.
We could do it a month from now.
Yeah, I think it's a
But-
month.
We'll be with your budget anyway, because you have a budget package in July, or June or July.
Can I clarify what you're saying, get them in the relief? Are you saying that if we raise the, I think we need to do all this, but are you saying then that we need to go ahead and approve these 2 additional positions? Is that what we're saying? Because you're saying the relief you need, and that's the relief he needs.
We just changed the multiplier so that he can do that.
Okay, so when you say, is this getting you the relief you need, it's not talking about adding these 2 positions right now.
Well, actually, I'm asking for 2 building inspectors and 1 adequate facility.
I want you to
tax
hear what his
coordinator.
relief is that what you're
I just
agreeing
think two
to?
marshals are 3, oh, there's 3.
Yes.
Did the 04 to 06 not give you the 2 new positions? Is that
It
something-
gives us 3 new positions, two building, multi-certified building inspectors, they do building, plumbing, mechanical, fuel, gas, all of it. And then an adequate facility tax coordinator to take care of all that, so the other ladies can take on this additional burden of people calling in on all this extra.
So the first one's doing what again, Marshall? The first one's doing what? Fuel? You just named a whole list of stuff.
Eventually, they'll be multi-certified, where they can do building, plumbing, mechanical, and fuel gas, all of it at one time. But you can't find anybody that's certified to come in and do it. You have to find somebody you think would be a good fit usually, and you gotta train them most of the time. You can't, they're just too hard to find. They're really in such high demand.
But you
I
guys
look
are adding
forward
the
to more.
accessory building. But you guys are adding.
How many people you need, and then we can do a deeper study on whether the
Do we
06
charge
was right,
for this?
appropriate, or if we need to do something else.
Yes. And I listed some things in the document that we do not expect to need to. There are some additional things that I didn't put in that document that we can always add to it. If it's a downturn in the economy or whatever, there's always other things. Insulation inspections is one. It's not in here. It'd be nice if we were doing it.
Quick question, Marshall. On the accessory structures that we're currently not inspecting, does that mean we're not charging them for it? Or is it just the structure being built at the same time as something else? That's what my
I'm
question.
sorry, Dave, say that again.
You said the accessory structures,
No.
the additional, we're not
No.
charging for it right now.
We're charging for it. We're issuing the permits. All we're doing is going out and looking at setbacks to make sure it's not too close to somebody's property line.
So we just need to do more on the inspections, what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
But we're gonna discuss, we'll get back to this tomorrow, so. All right, we're late, sorry about that, data processing, IT.
They're on page 47 of your regular budget and 97 of your capital. And then this is their salary. All that Robert has asked for is just the 5% cost of living. And a little bit of rounding money, I believe, on the salaries.
Okay.
Can you roll on down, Betsy, make sure I'm not telling them incorrectly?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Where is?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Robert.
Like, as far as market on, like, the county clerk, you said we're below, in planning, we're above a little bit, obviously, in some things. Like, where does IT net
I
out?
think IT was actually,
We're pretty good at 5%.
well, let me tell you what the actual IT director makes. I think Robert is right on it.
Well, I did ask for an additional 6% on top of that for my employees only, not for myself.
That wasn't-
Okay.
We didn't see any requests.
And I may have not done that correctly, it was in my email.
We didn't see it, Robert.
I guess, all the numbers we've got, where are we?
Let me go back down this, and maybe do that in there. Hate where this thing is.
And unfortunately, as anyone knows in IT,
Information.
it's hard to pinpoint any type of salaries when it comes to, because everyone's doing something different.
This kind of gives you an idea for Roberts. The actual median pay, not counting the high ends and the steps that I was talking about earlier, for all Middle Tennessee, and this was for last year, was 136, 383. So before the cost, he was about 130, so he's slightly below. His other folks, they're kind of variable all over the place. He's below all those, but I don't know their training and which one is part of degrees versus what they have. So to really get an apples to apples, like the one for 73, what is it, a web developer?
So, our IT department is doing everything for the new courthouse, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Not only just new courthouse, EMS, and highway department as well, we're taking on an additional 100-plus people to take care of.
you're talking about like servicing them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, not
He's
employees.
picking up the new courthouse, the old one's leaving the sheriff's department, or his department.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sheriff's department.
Could you tell us who you do not service in the county? I mean, that might be easier than who you do who do you not service?
Sheriff's
Just this-
That's it.
So we're good at that time.
And that's just the jail and the sheriff's department?
That's
Just
correct, yes, ma'am. We don't completely service 911, but we're in, we service them. But they do pay a stipend to us for our services there.
20,000 a year.
Everyone else will be under us at this point. Well, I'm sorry, schools as well. Schools and sheriff's office is who we don't service.
With the addition of the new courthouse, is there any additional personnel? They added it last year.
We added that last year, and I'm comfortable with us going forward with what we have now.
Let me ask you, one thing that's come up recently is the one-to-one clinics. There's a lot of different issues with that because we share that with the schools. Do you service them?
No.
So does the schools takes care of their IT needs, or does anybody
They do,
know?
they have their own stuff, they're
Well,
kinda
somebody's
like
got to pay for it,
You just feel like somebody's.
but we
We
don't.
pay fees
Yeah.
each month.
And they have their own IT people, not Robert. Okay.
But I do want to point out, with you bringing that up, with taking EMS up, they do have 13 outposts that will be servicing as well throughout the county, so that's something to consider. Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't share these, I'm sorry.
Not on one page, you guys $20,000 a year for support for IT. They used to pay 40, but they've hired.
Yeah, it was
They've
more
hired,
than-
they've hired one of their own IT people. And
Yeah.
then Robert here, actually, there used to be a contract, what was the name of that group that helped support them?
Rycor, I think.
Rycor.
It was a managed contract.
When they used to pay us more, they were actually using a lot of Rycor too, and he's
Yes.
getting Rycor out to make up all that difference. Because it looks like you're comparing apples to oranges on somebody who used to have a big outsourced contract with Rycor.
Yeah, we completely got rid of any contracted services. We do everything in-house now.
Robert, did I hear somewhere that we're losing Nina?
We have lost Nina. She's already gone, yes, sir.
Did you replace her?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Everyone, this is Kim. That was Nina's replacement. I meant to introduce her a minute ago, but we got right into business.
So, so my question is about that project management role. What is, I'm very familiar with what, project management is, so I'm not questioning what you do, just like, what's the scope of that? And I'll tell you the context of why I'm asking. Not saying we necessarily want to do this, but, it occurs to me that you get to a certain scale, and just like we're trying to consolidate with the exception of the sheriff's department, we mostly have you all as a shared service now. Typically, of an organization this size, you start to get, you end up with something of a PMO shop across the board, right? Like, so project management becomes its own kind of shared service that it's not, project management in planning, and then project management in IT, project management elsewhere. So I'm just kind of wondering what the specific scope of what your project management or your project manager does, to understand that a little bit better.
Well, at this time, we no longer have a project manager. We didn't proceed the way we thought we was going to as far as needing that position. The only person still left on my staff that's project management certified is myself, and I'll be handling all that going forward.
So you're doing that,
Yes.
you're just managing it as a function of the director?
That's correct.
Okay, got it. And
Yeah,
you're
wherever
doing
it's
it-
needed.
So this role here, you're not, that's not project management anymore?
No, sir. We just went back to strictly office manager.
Okay, so it's an office management role, so you're not doing like, you're not planning to roll outs, and you're not planning any kind of like sprint cycle or anything like that?
All that, anything that we would be doing project management related, I'm handling, like with the libraries and so forth. We're doing all that with EMS. I've did all the planning and project management for the highway department, so.
In the past, was this project management doing something different? When
There
it
was more
became-
things going on within the county initially, yes.
Did we finish them, or we just
Yes.
stopped managing
They're
them?
done.
Okay.
And right now, we're at a point where growth, the way we're growing, it can all be handled internally without, I think, necessarily the need of another project management position. But that is a position where money will be going back into the budget too. So that's a plus. Because I think her overall salary was 57, yeah. And office manager now is below that, so.
Can you show us those numbers?
Shows the numbers of what are you asking?
So, we reduced from the office/project manager that we had in Nina, the salary's reduced according to what we're discussing over here? I was
We
just
just need to
wondering.
adjust it in our payroll thing then if he tells us the amount.
That's what he's telling us
It's
right here.
already done.
But I mean, that makes sense though, right?
Yeah, it makes good sense. I just want to make sure we're
Because
seeing.
office managers don't typically have the same scope that a project manager.
It's right here.
Correct.
Yep.
Oh, it's already been put in there. It's already in his budget.
Now, is that included in data processing personnel, everything else is, or am I missing it?
For us, it would be.
Okay,
That's all we see.
so that's the lump sum 475.
Correct.
And then he's-
Everybody else besides Robert.
And he's got capital money on, capital request on page number 97.
Yes, sir. Well, I did ask to carry over the capital request we had last year because we wasn't able to get that completed, but we will get that completed this year. And that was 51,000.
I know we've got.
That's in the general fund.
That's in the general fund. But we have like on, if you go to the top two lines, there's 50,000 we've asked for any kind of equipment next year. It's historically been 96, but it's mainly for like ERP equipment.
Yes, sir.
Munis, Tyler.
Anything DR related as well at this point.
Finance uses a lot of your servers or
Yes.
server.
They're the heavy-handed ones.
Yeah, we're the heavy end because we have a database.
And
Hey,
can I,
we're over time, so.
another day.
Yeah, if we can.
Yes, sir. Well, I do want to point out too, due to some of the negotiations we've been doing after the fact that we presented this, when you look at our data process services of 750, we can actually bring that down to 700 also, accommodate for the raises as well. At this point, so I think that would play well into this.
Where is that in,
It's fifth one down on
What'd you
page
say that process?
48? Okay.
What'd you say about that?
With
Take it from
renegotiation, we
750 to
did the contract, we can bring it down to 700,000 now.
That's how we still have been reading.
Do you want to go ahead and make that adjustment right now? Just to have it, Beth, can we do that?
I did.
Here.
Oh, that's good.
All right, anything else? We're gonna keep moving. All right, thanks, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Great job. Register of deeds.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all doing? Here is, I
Can
didn't,
you read her page two?
I'm sorry.
It's on page 37, and if Bethany can hit her salary survey, her salary request.
I did not make multiple copies of these, but these are all of our property descriptions, all of our job descriptions that we have for the office. So I'll pass those around if y'all would like to look at them later. They're a little too long to look at right now, so if y'all have any questions, there's those. Do y'all have any questions for me?
We'll have to share them later. Maybe can you have your office scan these in for us, David?
So,
We can look at them later.
Job description.
I believe I
What
sent
are we
them
looking
to
at?
Jessica. Jessica's got them. So she
Salary.
Jessica could share
What is it?
those job
No, I
descriptions.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
send those.
okay.
All the way to-
What is, like, what are we looking at for
Market, it says that the average chief deputy for the register of deeds last year was 81. I think hers is, I don't know what hers is. So she's pretty close on the, and then it says the average market for a deputy clerk in the register of deeds is 50,440 in the large entities.
And if you look at some of ours right now, some of ours are close to that amount and some of ours are over that amount. The reason why we have one of them over that amount is she's been with us for going on 33 years almost. So we have two individuals that are our lead deputies in the office other than our chief deputy. And looking at the inflation rates, I think it's no secret everything's went up. I have a lot of single individuals in my office that don't have spousal income, so I have to look at that as well. I also have to look at what I am expecting of my employees. I expect the very best of my employees. I do not want to end up another statistic of property fraud in our county, and that is becoming a big issue. So I'm expecting a lot of my employees to really learn these job descriptions and apply these job descriptions in our office and know the state law on reporting requirements so we don't end up becoming one of these statistics to property fraud as well. Another thing that I looked at as well when asking for that increase is their insurance is going up as well, but our wages, just trying to keep them up with inflation rates right now is what we're looking at. As far as the fees that I bring into our office, the fees I bring in do exceed what I am asking. In years past, they have doubly exceeded. So due to the market right now, it is down. I expect it to be going back up to where we see those doubly exceeding fees. If we keep trending the way we're trending now, there is a state statute that says that we can add an additional $2 for electronic. This is not the EDP fee, which is what we have now, which is the data processing fee. But this is actually a fee that's going to go for everything that we bring in through e-files. I don't want to do that to my constituents right now because I know that fee is going to get tacked onto them. If it becomes a necessity, if we start exceeding like what I'm asking for in our budget, if we start exceeding what we're bringing in fees, then I may take a look at that. Right now, I think we are doing pretty good on the fees and commission that we're bringing in. That additional $2 fee would go into the general fund. It would not go into a reserve fund like my current EDP fee now.
And back to the same, on this topic, the same item I've asked everyone else is what are the other counties charging in fees?
Right. So there are only two counties right now in the state of Tennessee that I know are collecting that $2 fee. Is Montgomery County and another county. That has to be voted on through a resolution by the county commission.
Mm-hmm.
That can be an added fee.
And how does that work? Is that on transaction, like a new purchase, or is that a resale or property?
So what we do is we have a system called e-filing. It's an electronic filing system, and it's separate from actually just somebody sending the document in to us by mail, having a paper copy. This is actually an electronic copy.
Okay.
And so when they use those services, we can add an additional $2 on top of the $2 we're already charging. That's going to hit the constituent. These title companies are going to go.
All fees and all taxes hit the constituents.
I don't want to do that to them.
I understand.
You know,
I just want to know what
have
we're
to.
at.
Yeah. So right now we're pretty good. Everything that I'm asking for is under what we're bringing in fees. In years past, we've been, I want to say we've brought in close to $2 million, and now this year I think we're going to bring in close to $1 million. We're bringing in about $100,000 average in fees and commission a month.
I'd like to see our fees compared to other counties.
Yeah.
So
I know.
And I don't know if that's in the audit reports,
With
Mr. Lawing, or
with registers, it's
it
a
is,
little
right?
different because you're going to look at like someone like Montgomery who's going to have a lot of exemptions due to military. So if you like compare us close to someone like Montgomery, they're not going to bring in those fees like we do. Because what we do is we charge $3.70 on conveyance tax for every dollar. We collect that for the state. And then we also collect a mortgage tax as well. Then we get a 2.8% commission off of that tax that we collected. And that commission goes to the general fund.
If I may, most of yours are statutorily driven anyway.
They are. They're all statutorily driven, so it's...
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
this
all
is
about volume.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
I'll look at it.
all right. y'all have any more
All
questions?
right, I think we're good.
All
Thank you
right,
so much.
thank you.
Thank you. Madam Trustee.
She is on page 46, and she has a capital projects request on page 97.
Judge David Howard, I mean.
Exactly. How is everybody? It's a beautiful day.
We are awesome.
Beautiful day.
It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
I've been stuck in my corner.
Well, you need to be down there cashing those checks, you know?
We work really hard at that.
I know. Sorry.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Yes. Well, I knew you would.
Sorry.
No, I'm just teasing.
I'm sorry. I was wondering if you could explain to everybody, because it was such an enlightenment when you explained to me about how we collect the fees for the cities and how they give us the $10 per application.
Oh, on the tax freeze.
Yes, if everybody, this was very interesting to me. I don't know if y'all know it. Mr. Klein? Mr. Klein? Cindy's got something to share that I found extremely interesting. I think y'all would too. She's going to tell you how we collect the money from the municipals on the tax freeze work that we do for them.
We manage the tax relief and tax freeze programs that were initiated by the state. Every September, I send my tax relief staff to the different cities that participate to take applications. That helps our elderly so they don't have to drive to Gallatin. Well, the ones in Gallatin do, but they go to the cities to take these applications, and we bill the cities $10 a person for every application we take for them, which is some additional income. I'm going to tell you that we are going to be slammed this year because it's reappraisal year, and they will be coming out of the woodwork trying to qualify for these programs. So that's going to be a giant increase in our workload. We have an additional 6,200 parcels over what we had last year that we are going to have to handle the increased workload. There will be more people coming in for tax relief as well as the tax freeze, and that's the program where it's a lower income limit, and the state will pay a small portion of their taxes if they qualify, and then the county matches up to that for our elderly. That's going to increase. And then we always have an additional, probably around 100 public utility bills that the state sends to us to bill and collect for them. Those are like businesses that may not have a physical location, but they come through Sumner County, like trucking companies, Cumberland Electric, natural gas companies, where they have a presence here in the county. They might be running, lines across the county, and we collect a tax for that. That's usually an additional 100 approximately bills that we have to process. Let's see, what else increased do we have? And then, of course, last year we had asked about remodeling our office, and there was so much going on that didn't happen, so we would like to revisit that as well.
You will.
For
Okay.
50,000 she requested for that in capital.
Did Hendersonville raise their tax freeze for their city?
I don't know.
I know they're talking about it.
I think they voted to increase sales tax, if I'm not. Instead.
Good. It takes the burden off you.
Yes. So.
My only question is, I've had constituents reach out, just looking at our state constitution, I guess, questioning the income threshold for the property tax freeze versus just anybody over 65, or if it's 70, whatever it's going to be, like just freezing the property tax at the rate. I know that's when Hendersonville was trying to do a resolution to freeze property taxes for residents over 65 until they move, or the house sells, then it captures a new rate if it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is for anybody listening, that for somebody wanting to look into a property tax freeze, like where do they go, what do they do, you get to you, I guess, and to talk about that? They go online, best place to find information about that?
Well, we usually have update our information once we get everything from the state on our website, and then we have the information printed on the back of the tax bill as well, so that they can see if they might qualify, and then they can always come in too if
That's
they're
a
not
yearly,
sure.
they have to come yearly and do that?
Every year.
So,
What's the income threshold?
I don't have the amount for the state yet, but the tax freeze is going up to 46,000, I think. It was 42. It goes up a little every
What is that,
year.
46?
I'm sorry,
I think it's 46.5.
46.
So what does that cover, the 46.5? Is that like total, just straight up?
It's their
income?
adjusted gross income plus Social Security after Medicare.
Is that single or household?
Household.
How many more applications do you think you're gonna get?
We have no idea because of this reappraisal. There are people that
Oh, they're gonna learn.
and
that's
now
good for
that
them.
their appraisal has gone up, of course,
And
that scares people. We've had numerous calls.
And I've been to Cindy's office, so back to her capital projects needs, these people have to have privacy in discussing their financials. And so if you've been down to Cindy's office, you'll see that they're trying to quarter them off, but she's gonna need more people, another cube or somewhere.
And I had thought about asking if it's possible during the heaviest part of tax season, if we could use that empty room where HR used to be, maybe to set up a couple of ladies in there even to help with our space needs.
Could we put them in here? Can't we set up offices? We could take our meetings in the chamber.
It'd be easier to do it in that old HR.
Well, they're getting off topic
Yeah,
on that.
off
so
topic.
That's not.
But anyway,
We need some place.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions from Ms. Cindy? All right.
Thank you.
You want to go to the law directors because he needs to leave.
Okay, we can do that, yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
On page number 35, and if you can click his salaries. And really, the only thing that he really asked for in addition was an increase for the staff attorney, and when we look at, because the staff attorney's not included on this survey, but the amount that Eric asked for, if we look back at the 2022 survey, the medium, or for somebody with 5 to 7 years of experience, is actually below that requested number right there. I went back and looked, because
You mean the other way around?
it's amounts, that amount's below it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talking about that? You talking about the requested 2025 amount is
It's
still
less than the
below
medium for a staff attorney, yes.
at 2022?
For the 2022 survey.
What have we historically paid for the staff attorney? What was Mr. Allen making?
He was making, I think Steve came in for about 10 less, if I'm not mistaken, I can't recall exactly.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
And then also, he came in with more experience too, so that kind of makes, Steve came in with more experience. Steve came in with more experience than Mr. Allen did. Because I was asked to look at the numbers, so I went ahead and looked back at those two.
Any questions on the law directors?
Just one comment if I could, real quick. There is a increase here of 13 on my data processing equipment. I was gonna try and catch Tuttle, but, for whatever reason, my predecessor decided to switch everything in the legal department to Apple and then get a separate off-site service provider. This has created havoc and turmoil with problems with emails, trying to get stuff to move back and forth, the firewalls here at the county. So I'm asking that I be able to get my system up to the same standards as the rest of the departments in the building so that IT can service all of my equipment, and I'm not, then that will relieve the, there's another budget, data processing services, $11,000 was being paid roughly for off-site management of these Apple products. So to write out the contract, I'm reducing that one in half, and that will eventually become a zero line. And the 17 is a one-time hit just to get all the new software and get IT to merge and move whatever that voodoo is they do.
And licensing fee, so we're legal?
Mr. Tuttle takes care of all that, yeah.
Can you go to other contracted services real quick, Beth? If you look at that one, and that's something too, since they brought the staff attorney on, that I was talking to Eric about, that number right there has significantly been going down too. That's your outsourced number.
Oh, went from 43 to 12?
Yeah, 60, to 12.
So-
Now, they have more into it next year because you don't know what's gonna pop up, but there's been, I've been looking, there's less outsourcing now.
In-house, we've taken on all code suits now, which wasn't being done before, and we're taking care of the tax sales.
You're doing more work in-house than what was being done previously?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so I missed something about we've got a data processing services for 2025 that would be 7,500. We got other contracted services that are 100,000.
He spent a lot less this year, but we don't know what may come up next year, so
Right.
that's still in there for all.
And then there's a data processing equipment of
He's
17,000.
asked to replace the apples with Microsoft
But-
because the apples are causing issues.
Yeah.
We have, like, in other words, when we send them documents, the Apple has issues with them creating PDFs, so we've actually been using our staff to try to help them with that. It's such an issue. And, I mean, there's like a lot of issues with the Apple machines. They're older, there's compatibility between Microsoft, there's no in-house servers, they're all online, we pay
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, get on the
My
site.
mom's opinion was not a good idea for that to be up there.
Eliminating that $11,000 service.
So over 2 years, you're gonna get your
Correct.
money back.
Right.
Correct.
And I'm sorry, I just can't follow between the 12,815 and the 103,000.
What I'm saying is in the past, they were outsourcing for the delinquent
Right, I
tax.
understand why it's going down to
This year, it's
12.
only 12, but we left 100 in next year because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay, so it's just a cushion.
That's for any outsourcing they have to do that does not involve a liability case where there's offended.
What about our lawsuits?
If you are
That's
suing
liability.
somebody,
Okay.
it comes through them and here.
So
If
this
somebody's
is-
suing us, it goes through liability.
This is where they used to send out for another lawyer to review a contract to do plumbing or something like that.
They never did do that.
What were they
They were
doing?
doing like delinquent tax sales and they were doing.
They were
things
doing
for
that in there.
The debris cleanup, the debris ordinance.
The codes violations in the county.
They were outsourcing all of that. They were sending somebody with them at least, an attorney. We're
What
not
about
working
when we were outsourcing to get advice on the pilot projects? Where was that going? Because I know that happened, I
would
saw
come out
that.
of- That would come out of this. It should be coming out of this because we're not being.
I mean, I don't think we're doing it anymore, but that would have been what we would have seen back in the 61.
$100,000.
Well, and that could be a bona fide ask, because if it involves a TIF or something, for example, IDB gets reinvigorated and
It
some
just
other project
involved like,
comes
could
through.
you review this pilot contract?
Yeah, I can't
I don't
answer
know.
that
I'm just
question.
trying to figure out what they used to do and what we're gonna do. Thank
I
you.
don't
I'm
know.
in the weeds. Thank
What
you.
that's really is if you need some kind of specific specialization, what ends up in there.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Is, am I reading this right? He's asking for a 7.5% salary bump? I just want to make sure.
No.
Okay.
Everybody was told the 5%, and if you remember during the year, you guys adjusted his base salary for $4,500 for where he gave up the,
Does
disability. And if you go down to his budget, you'll see the disability line's gone.
So this accounts for that?
That's why it's 7.5%.
I had the same question, not trying to hate on you here, but
No,
I had
no.
circled
So
that
if
up
you
with a
take-
question mark like.
So if you take his current salary, and you add the 45 in, then you add 1.5, it'll come to that.
I'm used to it, that's all right.
That's all right.
But if you look
I had
at
the
the
same
disability
question.
line.
Don only picks on Aaron. Only person in the county.
Hey,
That's the
Don.
first thing he said all day.
Don,
Saved it for him.
Right here's the disability line.
I'll tell you why I'm asking too, because there's a lot of pushback on why there's people that feel like we gave him an extra raise with that disability, but from what I understood.
We know who the liars are over there.
Well, I'm not calling them, I'm not gonna say call them liars, they were just concerned that, that's why I was just asking.
That was shoring up a contract with a voice that was different.
But it would have put us more in the liability.
Yes.
Here's the whole issue that I seen from your financial end. If we have a contract that says he's getting paid a disability policy and then we don't fund it, and Eric gets disabled, then we're gonna be paying that amount of that disability as long as he's disabled, which would be $120,000 a year till he's 65, which is, if you don't care, we saved about 10 years. So we're talking 1.2 million. So when it went back.
11.
So when it went back to my payroll department, they brought it back to me and said, hey, we don't have a disability policy and we have this contract.
So we had a choice between, so from there, we had a choice to go find a disability policy, and I think the cheapest one was like 12 grand.
It was, well, there's
We're gonna lose $20,000.
I found one that was half that, and we couldn't use it. He found one that was actually, I think you had to buy 3 years, it was gonna be really expensive.
We're way off the topic, but that's
No,
what
I
happened.
brought up specifically because those who have a question now can look at the minutes and review it and see, just
Some
more
people
clarity
don't
of a
know.
smaller group.
Some people don't like.
Some people, even if they
Read
show,
the facts.
you show them 2 + 2 is 4, they're saying, well.
I did go back and look at his salary like I was asked to and everybody else, and the amount he's got in for the paralegal does fit right into the amount that Merck, I was gonna read it to you, but you don't happen to have that. Did I have the switch just from the few one I had highlighted or just?
All right, any other questions there? I think we have the EC here now, so.
You guys wanna take a 5-minute break real quick? or-
Yeah, we can do 5-minute break and now I'll take over. Thank you.
I'd just like to reserve time to come up to your office to gripe about
Stop that
anything
here. We'll
later.
take a 5-minute break.
Once it's when if you reserve time for
Terry,
that.
can you hold on a
Stop
second? Yeah.